here, which is in London, and it's different obviously regionally. So in Northern Ireland it's £3,489, and apparently fewer people than ever are opting for these full burial traditional funerals. More people are being cremated, more people don't want to do the whole funeral thing. Some people find it uncomfortable. What's your experience? You know, have you ever had to organise someone's funeral? Have you ever had to foot the cost of a funeral? We've got a text coming in here that says, you know, and it was one of those things we forgot to ask, which I can totally see, because when you're in such grief, you know, the normal things that you would normally ask just slip your mind. This message carries on. This is from Emma, and she said, thankfully the funeral company were a local Northern Irish company and ran an ethical business, so didn't exploit us or expect payment for at least 9 months, which there are payment plans that a lot of people do need. It still shocks me though that they didn't discuss the cost at the time. There should be some form of regulation to protect people at a really vulnerable time. That's from Emma. Emma, thank you so much for sending that in, raising a lot of really valid points there actually. Should there be a form of regulation, because funeral costs have risen and funeral director fees are up as well, so they've risen as well. So funeral directors, funeral services are making more money as the cost of funerals go up, which seems so mercenary and seems so callous, but you know, it seems that death is an economy just as being born is, and births and weddings and any big major life event, whether you're entering or exiting the world, there is opportunity for profit, and some people will exploit that. Just like Emma said, maybe there should be a form of regulation. What do you think? Do you think that there should be regulation? Have you thought about saving for your own funeral, which sounds like a really dire thing to do, but is it necessary? I think my granny's paid off her whole funeral. She's not dead yet. She seems grand, she seems fine, she's in good health, but she's paid for her entire funeral because she didn't want to leave anyone else with the cost. My granny is the most efficient woman you've ever met in your life. She has everything arranged. She would hate to leave anyone with the cost. She even has little sticky notes with people's names in the family on the back of items in her house. So for example, on the back of a few of the picture frames hanging up in her house, there's a few names. My name is on one of them, because I said to her one time, I love this painting like this. I've always loved it. Ever since I was a little girl, I've loved this painting that you have. And she said, well, you can have it. I'll put your name on the back. I said, thanks, Granny. But that's sorted. She's sorted it. It's efficient. It's done. She doesn't want anyone bickering. She doesn't want anyone having to foot the cost of her funeral. She doesn't want it going away that she doesn't want it. She wants to be in control of what that funeral is like. And so she's planned it all out. She's paid for it. It's done and dusted. Maybe you've thought about doing that. Maybe you have to. Maybe you have done that, or maybe it's not even something that you think about. Let us know. Give me a call. We're also talking about social anxiety and shyness. And do you suffer from social anxiety? Apparently 7 million people in the UK to some degree suffer from social anxiety or shyness in social situations with other people. But apparently there are a few tricks that experts and psychotherapists say that we can learn to help embrace the social situations. So that's quite a few stories that we're covering. I want to talk to you. You.
Not bad, Selma. I'm just calling for a few topics to discuss today. The first is the horrific story of...
Hello? Oh, you're still there. I thought I thought you disappeared and ran away for a second, but you're not. You're here.
No,
so yes.
The line's a bit poor in this room. Sorry.
No, I can hear you perfectly. So you're talking about that first story of Reynard Sinanga.
Yeah, it's a horrific story, really. It makes you reconsider going out on nights out, or even just going to pop down into the pub with your local.
Which is awful, isn't it?
It is awful, really. You know, I mean, I have been spiked before.
Right.
Not to the extremes of what happened with those gentlemen, but I was paralytic almost, and I was pie-eyed, as you put it. And it really changed my mindset about going out and drinking. So what I tend to do, safety precautions. I don't let randomers buy me drinks, even if I've just met them, even if I know them from the pub. I don't let anyone buy me a drink. I always cover my drink over when I'm sort of watching the telly or having a chat with someone, and I always take up. I know it sounds strange, but if I need to use the toilet, I'll take the drink to the toilet with me.
Because you don't want to leave it unattended.
That's right, yeah. I always make sure that I've got my hand on the drink and see who's pouring it and see if I can trust them. Because, you know, it's horrific, isn't it? You know, that could happen to anyone on a night out.
Especially since...
I certainly don't.
Yeah, especially since you said you've been in that situation before, which is such an incredibly scary situation to be in. And, you know, do you have any...
I haven't been to that.
No, of course, but someone has put something in your drink that's not supposed to be there. I think that's still awful, regardless of the consequences afterwards.
Oh yeah, I don't know what it was, maybe horse tranquilizer or something, but I was absolutely high-eyed, I couldn't stand up straight. And now when I go out to my local and we'll go out in general, I try to stay away from places like pubs and big places, because you tend to find you're a big crowd, anyone can just move their hand around, you know, they can get you a drink, you know, it's
and people do it for various reasons, to steal your phone, to take some cash off you, to the more dire, awful consequences, like this man who's been convicted of all of these sex offences. And I think, I don't know, what do you think, Lewis, but I think there are some men, and a lot of my friends, I think, who wouldn't even consider having to look after their safety in that way. I know all my girlfriends do, all of my female friends make sure that they're covering their drinks and not letting strangers buy them drinks and making sure that they're not alone and stuff like that. But I know loads of my male friends who don't do that, because it's not really thought of amongst men in the same way. Would you agree?
Well, that's devil's advocate. It depends how you want to play it. I'm sure after this story has come out today, I'm sure there'll be a lot of blokes like me who'll be reconsidering what they do on a night out. You know, maybe getting, you know, the beer caps to what they call the beer mats, maybe, you know, flip it up on the other side when you're having a drink or looking at the telly. You know, these are the things that I like to do because I want to make sure that I'm safe and able to get up the next morning to go to work or whatever. But, you know, it's something that I think everyone who goes out and have a few pints, maybe every night, or goes out and have a few pints in the middle of the week, to actually consider.
Yeah, people should just be aware. I think your advice as well is really practical, Lewis. Just make sure, you know, you don't leave your drink unattended. Make sure you can see who's pouring that drink and what. And
especially buy your own drink as well. I don't trust anyone who says, "Oh, do you want a drink?" No, thanks. I'll stick to my Foster's or Peroni, you know.
That's really sound advice, actually, Lewis. And you know, it is dangerous. And this story actually just highlights how dangerous a situation it can be when people are in those environments, because anything can happen when everyone's out and people are drunk around you and the music's loud and everyone's jostling and bumping into you. So much can happen. You don't have your eye across all of those moving parts.
That's right.
So you have to be really careful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, we're also talking about social anxiety. Do you ever suffer from that?
Well, yes, I was about to go on to it, yeah. So, I don't really, I tend not to get on with people. I might sound...
I think, Lewis, you sound like you're very friendly. We're getting on now.
Well, we're getting on now, but I mean, in public places and public spaces, maybe if I'm out on the road, you know, I don't get on with people as such, but I just have to sort of get on with it, if you know what I mean. It's one of them things where I'm not shy, but, you know, someone might pee me off if they say something wrong or they do something.
Lewis, are you the type of person who doesn't really like engaging